project number 1, Baby It's Cold Outside Wall Decor. For this project, you're going to need a piece of board. I'm going to use a piece of like scrap that I had, but I'm showing you that you could use the scarecrow sign also, or a Christmas sign. And I'm also using Waverly Chalk Paint and Crimson and Java, and then I printed out some decals on my Cricut. So I'm going to first start out by painting this piece of paneling that I had with the crimson red. And this is just a spare scrap that I had. It's got some ridges and stuff on it. If you want the ridges, you could use, like I said, the scarecrow Christmas sign from the Dollar Tree and just use your knife and score some ridges into it. Now I'm taking this Java brown and I'm just going to distress it with that around the edges. And once I have all that done, I'm going to take my sandpaper or my sanding block and I'm just going to scour some spots into it to make it look a little more worn. This step's completely optional. And then my first Cricut printable, I printed out Baby, so I'm just going to put that onto my piece of scrap vinyl, and just make sure, you just want to make sure it's centered and even in there. And then my other one, I'm going to place the word outside at the end of this. And I'm going to put the fonts that I used in the description box below for everybody. I made these myself using Cricut Design Space. And then my other two words are "it's cold." So it's going to say, "Baby, it's cold outside." Then I just printed off some random snowflakes and I'm just going to put them randomly on the sign. Again, this is something that's totally optional. And then once I have that done, I'm going to take my Mod Podge and I'm just going to put a coat of Mod Podge over this so it'll last. I won't have to worry about the lettering coming off. And then I'm going to attach a sawtooth hanger on the back of it and it's ready to go. Now our next project, we're just going to make some cone trees and I'm just going to display them. So what I'm going to first do is attach a string to a pencil and put the end of the string to the end of the paper, and this helps me make the cone shape that I need. Or you could just wing it and just make it by hand. I find this easier because it kind of helps me get a more rounded cone, I guess you could say. And I'm making one big cone tree, and then I'm making the second cone tree a little smaller than the first. And then I'm just putting it into the cone shape and we're going to glue that together. Now this step's optional. I realize that you don't really need to do this, but I used some craft sticks and I actually put there on the part where I glued this together to try to make it stronger. But I realize you don't really need to do this, so you can completely skip this step if you want to. It does help the tree stand up because it adds a little weight to it, but that's really the only purpose it serves. And then I'm just attaching some jute twine as like some tinsel for the tree. I'm just going to wrap it around and then glue it into the bottom. And there's the first tree completed. And then I'm going to attach one of these unfinished wood stars to the top. And what I didn't catch on video is I actually ended up painting those stars. I painted one black one and one white one. And now we're just going to work on the shorter one, which what I did is then I cut the jute twine and made the jute twine shorter, in turn making my paper shorter. And you can look this technique up online. I know it's going to be hard for me to explain or hard to figure out why I'm doing it that way, but there's several tutorials that tell you how to make a cone using this method, or you can just wing it and, like I said, make a cone with your hands. Now I'm taking one of these wooden crates from the Dollar Tree and I'm just going to paint it white, and then I'm going to distress it with some black paint to go along with the black and white theme. And I'm taking this little ornament that I bought from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to glue that to the front of my box here, my little palette box. And I'm just going to put the two cone trees inside. And I'm going to use some Spanish moss, or you can use reindeer moss, and I'm just going to put that around the trees. And it just gives it a little more dimension and textures added to it. And you don't really need anything. Like I said, the craft sticks help the cones stay up, so you don't really need to glue those down. I mean, unless you want to. I didn't bother with gluing them down. And once you have the Spanish moss in there, this project's complete. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. For project 3, we're doing a piece on earth wall decor, and I'm just going to use a calendar piece. These were the calendars that came out in fall at the Dollar Tree. I'm using the one from, you know what, I don't remember what calendar this came out of, but it's for the month of December. And I'm just going to attach it to this wall decor piece from the Dollar Tree also. And I'm trimming it out to where it looks like it's just all one cohesive piece. And there's what it should look like once we have it trimmed out. And then I'm just taking some extra floral pieces and I'm going to glue those to the top. Now I'm going to take a couple of these mini pine cones and I'm just going to glue those around the wreath of the calendar. It's going to add a little more dimension. And now I'm just going to attach some berries to that greenery on top. And then I'm going to reattach the jute twine that came with the original sign so that we can hang it up. That makes this project complete. Hey, if you enjoyed all these projects, don't forget to give me a big thumbs up and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified of all of my uploads. I would greatly appreciate it. For project 4, I'm recycling some Christmas candles. These candles, I used up all the wax, so I just cleaned them out, and I'm just going to recycle the holders. I bought some of the some scents off of Amazon, And ignore the food coloring, I did not use that. And then I bought some candles from the Dollar Tree, best candle wax you can get, and the cheapest. And we're going to start out by putting the candles from the Dollar Tree in some water, and we're going to slowly let the candle wax melt. And then while that's going on, I'm going to paint these 4 jars that I had from some older candles from the Dollar Tree that I'd used up. I'm going to paint these red and white. So I'm going to paint 2 red and 2 white. Now I'm going to move on to the 2 jars that I had that I'm recycling. And I'm using some of this buffalo check scrap paper I purchased from Hobby Lobby. I'm just cutting little strips of it out, and I'm just going to hot glue those onto the jars. And then I'm taking some of these DIY stickers from the Dollar Tree, and the unfinished candy canes I'm going to attach to the front. I'm not even going to paint them, I'm going to leave them unfinished. Now I got these wicks off Amazon. I'll leave the link in the description box below. And I'm just going to hot glue those wicks into the middle of each of these jars. These are super easy to make, so if you're afraid to make candles, these are the easiest ways to make candles. I just take, I can take like a knife or something and crack the wax up that's left over in these and dump it out, wash them, and you have reusable containers, and you can make anything, any kind of candle you want. So now I'm taking some of these unfinished snowflakes that was in that DIY pack, and I'm painting 2 red and 2 white. And I'm going to attach the 2 red to the white containers and the 2 white to the red containers. Then I'm just going to take some jute twine and wrap around the top of these twice, just to add a little something to the top. And I know these have stickers on the back, but they don't work well, so I hot glue them on. And then again, I'm taking some more of my wicks, and I'm just going to hot glue those in the middle. Hey, don't forget to check me out on my other social media pages. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest at CraftyAnew, and then you can find me on Twitter at crafty_anew. And I have some bonus videos and stuff on those, so be sure to check them out. Now I'm just trimming down the wicks so I don't have to fight with the long wicks. And then I'm using some skewers, and I'm wrapping the wicks around so that they'll stay centered when I pour the wax into it. Like I said, ignore the food coloring. I tried something and it didn't work. And now once I have the candles from the Dollar Tree melted, I'm just going to fish out the wick that was in those, and I'm going to save those for another day. And then I'm just going to pour some of the wax into the jars, add my scent, and then pour more wax into there so that, you know, I have layers of scent. Now I don't know if that works, but it's my theory anyway. And I purchased these scents off Amazon. I'll leave the link in the description box below. And they work great. They're not too strong, and they're just perfect for these. So I'm doing like peppermint, gingerbread, sugar cookie, and vanilla, I think is the ones I chose. And I'm just going to stir that around so that the scents can kind of get mixed in with the wax. And I ended up using more than 2 of these candles. I ended up using 4. So if you have the same size candle holders as I do, you'll need to purchase 4 of the Dollar Tree candle wax, or 4 of the Dollar Tree candles. And there's what they look like, all complete, sitting up on my mantle. A little candle holder my dad made. He makes wood projects, and I just love it, and thought the buffalo check and the unfinished candy canes looked cute on it. So for our next project, I'm making a Merry and Bright marquee. Back in the summertime, Dollar Tree had those little do-it-yourself marquee signs. They're just made out of cardboard. And then I'm using this wooden Merry and Bright from the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to paint the word Merry and the N symbol in the red paint. And then Bright, I'm going to paint in black. And you want to paint both sides of this. Now I'm going to take a white paint pen and I'm going to make little checks on the word bright so that it kind of looks like it's lit up. And you can see what I'm doing here. Take some of these pieces from the tower tumbling blocks, and I'm just kind of measuring on how many of these I will need to make the sign stand up, and I'm going to paint them white, and you're going to end up using 5 of these if you're using the same marquee sign that I'm using, which it was just a box. Back in the center, Dollar Tree had like an arrow and a couple of these that look like boxes, and they also had like a hashtag sign or pound sign, whatever you want to call it. I ended up getting a couple of these. And in here I'm just showing you how you can put them together, how easy they are. And it's just cardboard and like little, not fairy lights, but just like little LED lights. And they run on 2 AA batteries. Now I know that I haven't seen these at the Dollar Tree for a while, but you can kind of see how easy these would be to make if you had your own like fairy lights. And then they come with these little glass caps. You just cap it onto the light. Now we're just going to glue those 5 blocks onto the cardboard marquee. We're going to glue them laying down because you see less of the block. And I didn't bother painting the actual marquee itself. You can, they're made out of cardboard, but I liked the white of it, so I just left it the way it was. That's why we painted the blocks white, so it looks like it's one piece. And then we're just going to glue the sign onto the blocks so that it'll stand up. And once we have that glued on there, I'm just going to take 2 little silver jingle bells and I'm going to glue those on each end. And once we have those glued on, this project is complete. And you can see how well the candles are burning. I love the way my candles turned out. If you love it, give me a big thumbs up. So for project 6, I decided to do a hot cocoa bar, so I needed the hot cocoa sign. So I'm just using this jar sign that says Hello Fall, and I'm going to paint it with Waverly chalk paint in white. Once I have that painted, I'm going to go and paint the top of it with this Java chalk paint to make it look like there's cocoa in the jar. And now I'm just going to take some cotton balls, and you're going to see me move them around in my hand, just because I don't know if you ever get a pack of cotton balls, but they're never completely round. So if you just do this, it makes them round again. And these are going to be my marshmallows. And once I have all my cotton balls rounded again, I'm just going to hot glue those on to the top of my jar. Now I'm just going to take some of these red and green pom-poms from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to put those onto my cotton balls to make it look like sprinkles. I took my Cricut and I printed out this old-fashioned served daily hot cocoa sign, and I used black and red vinyl, and then I'm just going to put the old-fashioned served daily on first onto the sign, and then I'm going to center the word hot cocoa in the middle there. There may be an easier way to do this, but this is the easiest way I found layering my vinyl. This is the first time I attempted this. So I was so proud of myself for doing this. And I really don't remember where I got the font or this picture. I think I got it off of Cricut off the Design Space. But I don't remember. I'm sorry, I just don't remember where I got it. Then once I have that on there, I'm going to take this straw that I got from Hobby Lobby and I'm going to glue that to the top. And that makes this project complete, and I'm going to put it on a little black stand I have. And here's my first ever cocoa bar. What I did with the jars is I just used mason jars and I took some Christmas ribbon and wrapped around there. And then I'm using cupcake toppers to cover that up with, and it looks really cute. And I just strung some lights through there. My boys really enjoyed this, so I'm so happy the way this turned out. Hey, I want to wish everybody a very Merry and safe Christmas, and hope that everybody is staying healthy. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell, and give me a big thumbs up to let me know that you're enjoying my content. And I will see everybody in the next video. Bye!